dears, welcome back to my channel. Do you know this? There's a tabletop RPG session coming up and you have no idea at all how your character should look like and what makes them. Maybe it's your first experience with this game or tabletop RPG in general. Don't panic. This is exactly what happened to me and I want to show you how to solve this problem. In 4 short parts I will explain how you can create your own original character using my latest character concept. This includes the approach and considerations, the basic design, which is almost a nude version, the fashion style, which includes casual outfit and additional fancy outfits, and the weapons and items. And at the end you will see how a character sheet can look like visually, including highlighting of important features. If you hear some funny sounds in the background, that's just my new cat. She loves to get attention and that's one reason why it took me so long to create a new video for you. I apologize for the delay and hope you enjoy the tips. So here we go! First, approach and considerations. My example is about my first tabletop RPG character for Cyberpunk 2020. Before our first session, I neither knew about Cyberpunk nor did I have an idea how my character should be. So I proceed as follows. First, I read through some pages of the rulebook and informed myself about character building and classes. Then I played around with several cyberpunk doll makers and created mood boards to find a visual idea. After that I worked on a background story with the help of the rulebook, which includes tips about life events, the motivations of your character, the nationality, what they hate, what they like, etc. Then I changed my character and her story during the game sessions because I had a better insight into the world and now I knew how my character should be. So it's pretty normal that you need time to really build a character, especially on tabletop RPG, and if it's your first one. Yeah, cause you play them and create the reactions by yourself just in the moment and not before the actual session begins. Of course, there are people who can create characters before even playing, so yeah, that's just in my case. So yeah, months later I drew a simple portrait of her and revised my background information. Yeah, just as I said, in the sessions many things happened and I found that many things that I wrote down before that didn't really match anymore with my character. So yeah, it changed. Like you can see now, I just recently created a real character concept and also visualized her main weapons for the first time. Yeah, and if you're like me, trying doll makers or similar things first is a great foundation to feel into your character, work out your background story, and then adapt the design of your character to it. Yeah, it's important to know what have they experienced, what events have shaped them. Did they lose someone important in their life, or is there someone they would protect with their life? Depending on which tabletop RPG game you play, there are usually very helpful guides in the rulebook to follow for your class or folk. In Cyberpunk 2020 it's the live events, which you can simply dice out if you really have no idea. You can also find free generators on the internet for different games, D&D, Cyberpunk, etc. Feel free to try different things until you are satisfied with the result. Yeah, here is a summary of the steps. First, if you got no idea, try out different doll makers or story generators. Second, to get more ideas, search for visual inspirations and create multiple mood boards. I find Pinterest really helpful. It's no surprise, I guess. Every now knows how addictive you can get when searching on Pinterest. I would try to find very different inspirations to build your very specific own. Yeah, then visualizing your first ideas. Just sketching, take a pencil and put onto paper whatever comes into your mind when thinking of your character. It doesn't need to be perfect because the next step would be writing a background story, which is really important to really create a good character. Yeah, and last but not least, revise story and design. And as I said, it happens that you recreate the background story or the visual idea of your character multiple times just as you play them. Yeah, that's pretty normal, I guess. But the most important thing is to have fun, of course. Let's come to the second part, which is the basic design / nude version. As a workaround, I recycled my own bases and also elements from the previously mentioned portrait. This can save you a lot of time too, because the main work is still ahead. I like the skin color, hair color and makeup from the doll maker so much that I kept those elements. I love the strong contrast between pink and yellow, which just goes wonderfully with a loud rebel and has true cyberpunk style. In the inspiration process, I came up with the idea of shaping her cyber buns like horns and wrapping them with barbed wire. The undercut also looks alienating to the pigtails because cute is definitely not what she wants to look like. My character Yuki has been through a lot due to an acid attack that was supposed to apply to her father. Both of her legs were completely burnt from the knees down and had to be replaced with cyber legs. Obviously, she wanted ones that could kick asses. Yeah, I'm sorry for that pun. There are permanent scars on her knees, wrists, and palms from the accident. The music helped her get her pent up feelings out and her hatred for corrupt corporates and the rich. I knew she needed a lot of tattoos. She endures pain and wants to express herself visually. Playing her bass guitar means everything to her. That's why she symbolically wears music on her heart. Love and hate accompany her all her life. She cannot believe in a god, and in addition to the many personal meanings, there are many geometric shapes that have no statement. They just look cool and fit into the cyberpunk world. They can also be seen partly as skeletons and neck bones. What exactly she has in mind, we don't know. Yuki always wears her battle glove. This is as much as a cyber arm to strap on. What it can do, I will let you know later. In any case, it has to fit optically to the cyber legs. The basic colors are black, pink, and yellow, which will be used through the concept. Do your character have a favorite color? They are the be-all and all for your concept. Symbols and elements are also good guides for each component. Whether you draw a back view for your character, it's totally up to you. For me, it was very important to visualize this view because of the tattoos. For the design, I merged many different sources of inspiration together with my own ideas to make something completely individual. If you're looking for ideas, I can highly recommend Pinterest again. Pinterest. Yeah, just try out different terms because sometimes you don't know exactly how the common term for something is certain. The more you have formed your character mentally, the easier it will be for you to visualize their personality outwardly. This applies not only to the colors and symbols, but also to what your character would feel comfortable with. However, there are some questions to be answered first. Does they prefer it airy and light, or rather comfortable and practical? Are there certain materials that are typical for the world or environment? If you can empathize with your character, then further outfits are no longer a problem. I will now tell you my thought process during the concept development. You will also learn some details about my character to better understand certain design decisions. As you could already see in her portrait, she wears a gas mask. I also recycled it, only a little bit adjusted in perspective. Her street name Toxic Yuki is no coincidence because her beloved gas gun is often used. I will tell you more about that later. Yuki is on the one hand hard and robust, but on the other hand she has a soft core. She would do anything to protect her father and her friends, is very loyal and not afraid of heated fights. I wanted to reflect this mixture of tough and soft in her clothing as well. Therefore, I decided to use sturdy leather, or rather fox leather with fluffy fox fur. In the cyberpunk world, real animal raw materials are probably reserved for the upper class. For the soft part, I also wanted to pick up the rather cute color of the hair. The strong contrast between dominant black and bright neon colors seemed to be the most fitting for her and the world she lives in. My cyberpunk bassist loves skulls and studs. She is a real rocker after all, and in the cyberpunk world, whoever can intimidate others prevails. To add some variety and reinforce the idea of soft and hard, I decided to use flat and pointed studs in different size rations. This also runs through the whole concept. Since she already has barbed wire in her hair, I really wanted it to appear again. The skirt looked ideal to me for this because here again we have the combination of cute pink and dangerous looking details. A rebellious musician, of course, also needs a striking pattern. Zebras as well as tigers have stripes. Both are wild and free. Ideal to let the gentle and the dangerous flow in visually. With patterns you can also express a lot and at the same time create more distinctive details that contribute to the recognition value. So you catch two birds with one stone. What the slogans like "fuck you" and "eat my dust" refer to, I don't think I have to explain at this point. Also, her hair strands are color coordinated with the biohazard sign. If you are satisfied with the basic design and the casual outfits, you can start with other outfits. How many different outfits you think about, of course, is up to you. If one outfit is enough for you, you are already done at this point. All those who are curious will now learn how to approach another outfit. For the fashion choice, what you will see in a moment was strongly inspired by a photo of Charlie XCX from the Grammy Awards 2015. Maybe some of you know the feeling when you see a photo and immediately think to yourself, oh my god, this is exactly what my character would wear. And yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Anyway, I really wanted a suit with a tie or bow tie for my Yuki, and at first I didn't know directly in which direction to go. Originally, I wanted to design her first undercover outfit, which is a corporate suit. However, I was not satisfied with any result, and so I decided to let her buy a new outfit. So actually, also in our tabletop RPG session. It was much easier for me to design something that actually fits her and that she would wear on her own. Everything else felt very strange on her. I thought a real party outfit needed proper glam. That was only partially covered by the inspiration, so I added details like chains, spikes and buckles. On the one hand, these fit into the cyberpunk world, and on the other hand, of course, to my girl. Yuki suffered greatly from paranoia when she bought this outfit and felt persecuted, which is not surprising since she made a lot of enemies. After an attack on an influential corporate, she got into a kind of bloodlust after someone escaped with his corpse. So much for the short version. To go into her psychic abyss would go beyond the scope of this video. In any case, she had many sleepless nights and alcohol excesses behind her. Before meeting with her allies in a restaurant, something had to be done to cover up her condition. The hair wildly combed to the side and darkened sunglasses. Thus neither eye rings nor listlessness stand out. Yuki wants to prove style with the appearance on the one hand and at the same time preserve a certain anonymity and hide weakness. This time I used the pink fox fur as an eye catcher. Because the color is so dominant, I otherwise wanted to accommodate it only as color essence in details. Neutral black and white in similar proportions further strengthen this eye catcher. Her addiction for zebra patterns is reflected in the pants, just less widely. For the suit itself, I wanted something simple yet eye-catching. This works quite well with straight lines and solid colors. The patch head with studs and the leather glove complete the overall look. My thought was again to create contrast between well-behaved and rebellious. The silver applications support the metallic cyber parts that still stand out. This time I wanted to do it without the color yellow, so it looks more harmonious and the strands of hair come out much more. Oof, yeah, these were quite a few thoughts, but I hope they will help you with your considerations. Surely your character has some cool weapons and items worth showing off besides their skills. As you already know, my cyberpunk girl is a rebellious bass player who is out to make a ruckus. But she doesn't just swing her bass guitar to make music. With the integrated heavy assault rifle, even her enemies will lose their hearing and sight. Handy when you have to carry less and your enemies don't expect you to be armed at all times. The firing range is 400 meters. For attacking from a safe distance, it can sight in your target through the sights and can see on a digital display if the victim is within range. Besides the technical aspects, the design, who would have thought, plays an important role. The main color black dominates again. Originally I wanted to include a signature and many small stickers, but I discarded this and a few other ideas. Yuki loves skulls and studs. Matching to her buttons, these also decorate her instrument. For a futuristic look, hoses also peek out, a recurring element of her cyber legs. Of course, her beloved animal prints can't be missing. Her status veilers for coolness, charismatic leadership, and wardrobe and style are very high. She knows what she wants and how to make others remember her. Glowing neon tubes with pink paint on the edges and reflective strings in turquoise create the right mood at every concert. I like the idea of adding the turquoise element of her eyes to small proportions of the weapons and items. The cold color is a great contrast to the warm pink and yellow. Of course, she's taken quite a beating, not least because Yuki also tends to hit her enemies with her bass guitar when the situation calls for it. That's why it's full of wear and tear in the paint, cracks in the leather and rust in the metal. You have heard and seen enough that my character is not afraid to use sleeping gas and poison gas against her enemies. That's why her band's logo Skull Foggers consists of a skull and vulgar pun. The pun is a reference to the weapon just mentioned. There's not much more to say about the double gas pistol as far as the color scheme is concerned. Of course, no cheeky sayings or symbols could be missing here either. It took me a few approaches until I was satisfied with the design. The special feature of this weapon is that it has two sides or compartments. One for sleeping gas and one for poison gas. Depending on which side she presses, the corresponding bullet is used. Cyberpunk is full of merciless enemies and every second decides about life and death. A magazine change or the wrong cartridge could be fatal. Even though I imagine it to be a lot of fun. Oh, excuse me, sir, I have to change my magazine first. I would like to poison you, but I still had the wrong cartridge in it. Oh, no problem. Take your time, I will wait. Yeah, whatever. I had already alluded to it in a previous paragraph. Yuki also has a battle glove for her right arm. Not only does it have a powerful punch, but it also has room for 3 different weapons. So far only 2 compartments are occupied, but they have it in them. In the course of role-playing, she has had both a stun gun and a flamethrower added. I thought it would be pretty cool if the shockwaves came out of her fingertips. That's where using yellow paint really came in handy from a visual standpoint too. The flamethrower comes out of the palm via a gland. I had found a lot of great inspirations from people who had built a kind of glove flamethrower in real life, so the pink color in the palm of the hand literally screams, "Caution, hot." So you see, there's a lot you can incorporate from your background story. This makes your character interesting and authentic. Be creative and combine one or the other item with each other. This not only creates cool items but also saves your adventurer a lot of space. You don't have to worry at all if you need a few tries. Take your time and don't put pressure on yourself. Sometimes you get inspired exactly when you don't expect it. Even if your ideas and tastes change over time, you will still have great before and after pictures of your character. So in any case, it's a win-win situation. Your concept is now ready and you're probably wondering how to stage it properly. As a bonus material, I will show you how your finished character sheet could look like. First of all, The shown example is just my own result and pure matter of taste. The overall aesthetics can be completely neutral or suitable for the character or the respective tabletop RPG game. Make sure that the background color of your sheets does not distract from the design. Neutral colors like gray, white or black are best. Especially gray tones have a relaxing effect and actually fit everywhere. Make sure that the captions are easy to read. Headings, however, can be wild. Ornamental fonts are particularly suitable for short words. Think about how and in which order you want to arrange individual elements. Start with what is most important to you. This could be, for example, the full body view with the casual outfit. At the very end you can add weapons, items, symbols or close-up views. A good structure makes it easier for outsiders to understand your concept. Clear captions are a good addition so others can understand your thoughts. For example, the name of the character or the tabletop RPG or the words are suitable as headlines. Don't forget the color palette and your signature. It must be emphasized that there are no guidelines. There's also neither right nor wrong, so it is more a matter of food for thought. That's how you can tell if your character design is good. It has a high recognition value. Your character is recognizable in every style. But most important, you look forward to playing them. You can check the recognition value with the silhouette. Color your character in black and see if the most prominent traits still stand out. In this example, you see two different characters in the same pose. You can use bases if you want to save time and the body type fits. The key is to have a clear concept with memorable features. For a concise color scheme, choose one main color that makes up a large part of your design. Other colors should be included in smaller and proportionally different proportions. Look for 3 to 4 colors that run through the entire design. This forms a clear visual image which can be especially enhanced by light-dark contrast. It should not be too much of a pain in the ass to draw the character more than once. So if you're not as masochistically inclined as I am, keep a few simpler outfits or variations on hand. How complex or simple your character looks is up to you. You're creating them for yourself, not for an animation studio or the mainstream. Let's briefly summarize what makes a good character design. First, a good background story, including origin, life events, preferences, etc. Second, characteristic features, for example, unique hairstyle or repeating shapes, patterns or graphics. Third, a recognizable and consistent color language. So pay attention to color theory and color effects. A small additional tip: choose a characteristic of your own personality for the character traits or integrate something in the story with which you can identify yourself. This will make it easier to put yourself in the character's place. Did you find the tips helpful? Feel free to let me know. I cut out the failures of the costume designs and some of the tattoo considerations. I found it a bit cringe and too long. In all it took me about 50 hours for the sheet, not counting the preliminary sketches, idea collection and various mood boards. Of course, you will get it done much faster since detailed rendering is not necessary and a pure style decision. Basic flat colors are absolutely fine. Use your own bases, objects or other things to make the process easier. Alternatively, if you can't draw yourself or don't have time, you can use free bases or pay an artist to do the rendering or design. I hope you enjoyed this video and I could help you a bit. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will try to answer them as good as I can. Feel free to leave a like and press the subscribe button. Good luck with your character concepts and see you next time!